My sources tonight are CNN Global Affairs analyst Karim Sadjadpour, as well as the founder and executive director of the National Security Institute, Jamil Jaffer. All right, ceasefire or no ceasefire, Karim, as you see it, because the U.S. does appear to have targeted positions on land in addition to the boats and drones that were incoming. So it wasn't just that immediate threat to these destroyers. How are you seeing the ceasefire right now?
So, Brianna, this is a kinetic war, it's an energy war, and it's also a disinformation war. Every day there's streams of disinformation. There was two pieces of breaking news today. One was that there was going to be imminent negotiations, and then there was initially breaking news that we've returned to a hot conflict. The question is whether the Iranians will interpret our provocation or retaliation as a violation of the ceasefire, and how do they react. What's clear is that President Trump doesn't want to continue to consume his presidency with this war. Iran's leaders are also under enormous economic duress. But as the president alluded to, the level of mistrust is so enormous right now that I don't see light at the end of the tunnel.
Which is very interesting. The president, Jamil, said on Truth Social, missiles were shot at our destroyers and were easily knocked down. Likewise, drones came and were incinerated while in the air. They dropped ever so beautifully down to the ocean, very much like a butterfly dropping to its grave. Okay, let's not get distracted by the poetic description there, but focusing there on the missiles and the drones, because this is the second time in a week that Iran has done this, right, when it comes to a U.S. ship. So what does it mean for diplomatic efforts when their Navy is, even as the president says, it's decapitated? Iran is quite capable of doing this.
Right. What's so crazy here is that Iran entered into a ceasefire with the United States with the premise being, you stop bombing us, we'll open the strait. Guess what? They never opened the strait. They've never complied, not for a single day, with this ceasefire. Now, we've kept it in place largely. We've only shot back when they've shot at us. But they've been shooting at us a lot, and we've now imposed a blockade upon them. So we're trading these blockades. But the real problem here is that they simply haven't done their part, not for a single day. And for us to continue to negotiate with them and talk to them about 20 years for no enrichment. I mean, remember, the Obama deal that the president so roundly and rightly criticized was a 15-year no enrichment deal. Keep 3.67%. Same deal the president's talking about, 20 years, 12 years. None of these are good deals. We bombed them for a reason. We should stick to it. We should get them to a real deal, which is no enrichment at all.
How do you do that?
Maybe you have to go back to bombing. Maybe you have to force the Straits of Hormuz reopen. Right now, the Straits are closed because Iran lets them be closed. If we sent U.S. warships through, which we're starting to do, and we escorted ships through, now you have to shoot at us. If you shoot at us, we've got to take you out completely, not just incinerate your drones and your missiles, but hit you on land and take out your positions.
A lot of maritime ships are not going to go for that. They've been very clear. They're going to stay in the Gulf where they feel a lot more safe. I wonder how you see that and how you're reading this move by the U.S. on this critical day where Iran was kind of changing the rules around the Strait to send those American destroyers around the Strait.
So when this war began, the Strait of Hormuz was not an agenda item for the president. He wanted to destroy their nuclear program entirely, destroy their missiles and drones, destroy their regional proxies, and maybe even implode the regime. And 2.5 months into this war, Iran is obviously, as we all know, it's wielding enormous leverage with the Strait of Hormuz. It's impacting the world in a way that their nuclear program wasn't necessarily impacting the world. And from the outset, I've said that Iran has tried to defeat America, not on the battlefield, but in the living room. They want oil prices to spike, and they want popular opinion to eventually restrain President Trump's ambitions. So I think, what Jamil said would be an ideal outcome if you could get zero enrichment and, destroy all of their missiles. But that takes a resolve which, dictatorships have that resolve because they don't care about their public opinion. But for democracies, that's much more difficult.
Because the president says Iran wants this more than him, but he doesn't actually want to stick around for too much longer doing this.
And that's the problem. The Iranians know it, and they're using it against him. He's got to show resolve. He showed some resolve on Monday. He said he was going to reopen the strait by force, and he was going to send U.S. ships through and escort ships through, even the ones that wouldn't come, but there are ones that would. And the problem is he didn't stick to it. It took a day for him to go back on that and say, we're going to close it. Now, we're blaming the Saudis. We're blaming everybody else. But the truth is, we didn't stick to it. And now the Iranians see weakness. They smell blood in the water. and they're chasing it down. The president has got to be who he wants to be, which is tough and resolute, and push it down.
Jamil and Karim, thank you so much. Very important day, and we appreciate you being with us.